Alright, this is Elder Young One. We're going to do a quick video about tithing. I've done a video about tithing a long time ago. I figured I'd redo it right quick, and I'm going to try to make it short because if I keep it short, it'll upload quicker and it'll be easier to understand. But I'm going to do this one kind of backwards. I'm going to go from the New Testament back to the Old Testament, and I'm going to start with Hebrews chapter 7, verse 5. So we'll go there first. We're going to go to Hebrews chapter 7, verse 5. And verily, they that are of the sons of Levi, who have received the office of the priesthood, have a commandment to take tithes of the people according to the law, that is, of their brethren, though they come out of the loins of Abraham. Now, in the 7th chapter of Hebrews, the only commandment that's mentioned in this whole 7th chapter is the commandment to take tithes, which is what I just read in verse 5. Now we skip on down to verse 18, and it says, For there is verily a disannulling of the commandment going before, for the weakness and unprofitableness thereof. So, the commandment to take tithes, because that's the only commandment that it's talking about in this whole chapter. All you got to do is just go back and read it. You can read the whole chapter if you want. This commandment to take tithes has been disannulled. If you look that up in your dictionary, it's going to give you annul, which means to cancel. And I'll show you that right quick. Right where my finger is, where it says annul, right there. To reduce to nothing, obliterate, to make ineffective. See that? There's your definition for annul. There it is. Alright. So when you see in the Bible where it says to disannul in that 18th verse, it is a canceling, a doing away with of the commandment to take tithes. So according to the book of Hebrews, we are not supposed to be tithing. Now we're going to go to Luke chapter 11, verse 42. Luke chapter 11, verse 42. It says, But woe unto you Pharisees, for ye tithe mint and rue and all manner of herbs, and pass over judgment and the love of Elohim. These ye ought to have done, and not to leave the other undone. So even here in Luke chapter 11, verse 42, they are also using mint and rue and herbs to tithe with, not money. Now, some preachers will try to run that game on you and tell you that mint means money. That's what they'll tell you. Alright, here's the definition for mint. Try to get the whole definition in there. Alright. It's talking about plants. Just like the anise and the cumin, mint is also a plant. So if they try to tell you that mint is only talking about money, that's wrong. As we see right here. Now, it could be also this definition here, which I seriously doubt it, because we see that the other two things that was mentioned that they tithe with was also herbs. It said all manner of herbs. Okay, this is an herb. This is not. The other definition is a place where they made money. A place where coins, right here, a place where coins, metals, or tokens are made. How can you tithe a place or a building where you make the stuff? So it's got to be this definition here, okay? So yeah, and that is in dictionary there. So yeah, when pastors try to run that game on you, we know that that's a lie, okay? But getting back to the scriptures. Now we're going to go to Malachi chapter 3, starting at verse 8. Malachi 3 and 8. It says, Will a man rob God? Yet ye have robbed me. But ye say, Wherein have we robbed thee? in tithes and offerings. Now, a lot of people try to use that verse of scripture and say that we're robbing God because we're not tithing and giving 10% of our income or our money. All right. It says, "You are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation." Verse 10, it says, "Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house." And it has it very clearly. I underlined it in my Bible right here where it says meat, not money. See, "Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house." Okay. "And prove me now herewith, saith Yahuwah of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven," okay, "and pour you out a blessing." That's talking about pouring out rain, water. The windows of heaven, that's when it pours out rain from the sky to water the crops. Okay? And I got a reference scripture for that. That's in Genesis chapter 8, verse 2. I'll turn there right quick. Genesis chapter 8, verse 2. And I'll show it to you. Where it talks about the windows of heaven in verse 2. Right there. It says, "And the fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained." Because opening the windows of heaven brings rain or water. When he says pour you out a blessing, he's talking about water. Now, the reason why they want the windows of heaven to open to get the water and the rain is so that their crops can get water. Okay? So when you read in the book of Malachi, where it says, "I will pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it," he is talking about water. Because if you go to verse 11, he says, "And I will rebuke the devourer for your sakes, and he shall not destroy the fruits of your ground." Okay? That's in verse 11. Because it's talking about farming, getting food and crops, and tithing with it. See, destroy the fruits of your ground. "Neither shall your vine cast her fruit before the time in the field." Okay? That's what this is talking about. And they need the windows of heaven to open to bring the water so that the water can pour down from the clouds onto the crops. That's all Malachi chapter 3, starting at verse 10, is talking about. Okay? Now we're going to go to Leviticus chapter 1, starting at verse 2. Even when they would give offerings, it was always either some type of food or some type of cattle when it came to tithes and offerings, because they wanted to say and offerings too, because they'll tell you that you can't just pay tithes, you got to pay offerings too. Well, look at this. All right, Leviticus chapter 1, verse 2. "Speak to the children of Yasharal, and say unto them, if any man of you bring an offering unto Yahuwah, you shall bring of your offering of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock." See that? See, this is talking about cattle. All right, that's what the offerings were. All right? Make sure you see that real good. Okay? So when they would tell you you have to bring your tithes and offerings, we know that that's talking about crops, food that's grown out of the ground, and cattle. Okay? All right, and you got Leviticus chapter 2, starting at verse 1 and 2. When we would read in Malachi, when it would say that there may be meat in mine house, what we just read in Malachi 3 and 10, this is the meat that it was talking about. When you go to Leviticus chapter 2, starting at verse 1, Leviticus chapter 2, starting at verse 1, it says, "And when any will offer a meat offering unto Yahuwah, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense thereon, which is a herb. And he shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests, shall take them there out his handful of the flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. And the priest shall bring the memorial upon it, burn the memorial of it upon the altar. Okay, offering made by fire. But it's talking about meat. See that? Meat offering. They actually used food. So that's what they tithe with. And just to throw the icing on the cake, just to really squash this whole tithing with money thing, which actually is abomination. We're not supposed to be tithing with money. It's like a slap in the face to the Most High. You know, using Edomite currency. Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22. Deuteronomy 14 and 22 shows exactly what they tithed with. I'll turn there right quick. 14 and starting at verse 22. And I will show it to you right here in this little Bible that I have. All right. It says, thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. Okay, that's right here. Okay, that's why they needed the water from the clouds, from the rain, to water the field. They wanted the windows of heaven to open so that they can have a crop that can grow. And bring forth year by year. Verse 23, and thou shalt eat before Yahuwah thy Elohim. So this is stuff that you eat. See, this is what they was tithing with. Okay, tithe of the corn, wine, oil. Look at that. Look at verse 24. If the way be too long for thee, and you're not able to carry all that stuff, then this is where money comes into the picture. He says in verse 25, then shalt thou turn it into money, and bind up the money in thine hand, and shall go to the place which Yahuwah thy Elohim shall choose, which is Jerusalem, not in America, and thou shalt pay or bestow that money for whatsoever you want to tithe with. So you take your money and you go and you buy the food or the oxen or whatever your soul desire, and you eat that before Yahuwah. It has to be food. It cannot be money. You have to take the money and go and buy the things necessary to tithe with. See that? So that's my quick video on tithing. That should pretty much clear up the whole tithing thing. We are not supposed to be using money. It is an abomination to do so. It is a sin to do so. The love of money is the root of all evil. It causes covetousness, different things of that nature. There's other scriptures for that. I'm not going to get into all that on this video. Yeah, we should not be tithing. Please share this video with any one of your friends or family members that's still attending these churches and they're still tithing, because you're wasting your money. Okay, you could immediately get a 10% increase in your income in your household and use that money to take care of your family. So I hope this video blessed you, and may Yahuwah bless you many times.